the Big LG Doc Gallows, and you're watching the Wrestling Junkies. Boom.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Mr. Cincinnati. As always, I am joined by that handsome devil wearing a Naughty Cat t-shirt. Podcast Dad, how you doing?
Shout out to the Naughty Cat Cafe in Chattanooga. Gracious hosts when my wife and I went to visit for, excuse me, a whole hour to play with some cats. You know, it was a lot of fun.
I like it. I like
any
it.
jokes? No jokes.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Peel back behind the curtain Peel back behind the curtain real quick. I did eat 4 Skyline cheese conies in 3 minutes before I came on the show, so I am full. I'm ready to go. We have a huge night, and I thought, what better way than to shotgun some cheese conies?
You know what? The Skyline train was also rolling in this house. Max made chili last night.
Nice.
He's not he likes Skyline, and don't get me wrong, everybody does if you live in Cincinnati, and well, for the most part, Gold Star sucks.
Sure.
But he goes on the full, several kinds of beans, tomatoes, jalapenos, onions, all of that. So it was very much a hearty actual chili, but it very much had that Cincinnati taste to it. So definitely cannot wait to eat up some leftovers tonight.
Perfect. Hey, we're gonna run through the socials real quick. We have a packed night. We have
we do.
Not one. Not 2,
not 3,
not 4.
Not 4. Wherever it's sounding like LeBron now. 5 guests.
Shout out to Booker T. 5 guests tonight. So let's run through the socials real quick. Like us or follow us. Not like us, but you can like us too. But follow us X, TikTok, and Buzzer at Junkies Pod. Like us on Facebook. Also subscribe, follow to the Instagram at Junkies Pod. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. We can only grow this thing with you guys. We want to keep going. The table is back there. Pull up a seat. There's a tree on there. Let's get it going. And
Max has been into bonsai lately, or as he likes to say it, bonsai. Like it, he's getting real pretentious.
I like bonsai too.
I
the
do.
Bonsai drop from Yokozuna.
Yeah, well, I could have said that and it would have gone right over his head. I love him to death. Don't get me wrong. It's just extremely pretentious how he says bonsai. But anyway, shout out to our friends at Turnbuckle. You can give them a follow at official TRNBCKL. Fastest growing community out there. Join the Discord server. We'd love to have you. And shout out to our friends at bodyslam.net. And follow us at the Scrap News. We got some new articles coming out ahead of SummerSlam. Can't wait for you guys to check this out. But yes, as Podcast Dad said, we have 5 incredible guests tonight. And our first guest has built one of easily the most fascinating resumes anywhere in pro wrestling right now. She's competed across the UK. She's become a champion internationally, one half of a tag team championship with Nyla Rose. Again, tag team dominance overseas and everywhere, and recently reached a milestone that very few wrestlers from anywhere in the world get to experience. Just a few weeks ago, she challenged for the Marigold World Championship in the main event of the legendary Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan, easily one of the most iconic buildings in all of professional wrestling. It's a venue that has hosted generations of legends, and now her name is forever part of that history. And what's even cooler is that she isn't someone that has simply dreamed about professional wrestling from afar. Years before she ever stepped into the ring, she was sitting in the second row alongside her dad at the very first Pro Wrestling Eve event. Fast forward to today, and she's become one of the faces of British wrestling while making her mark across the globe. So we're excited to learn more about that journey, her experiences in Japan, her incredible career, and what's ahead. So please pull up a seat and welcome Nightshade to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Nightshade, welcome to the table. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. What a wonderful introduction.
Thanks for coming. Thanks. Like Eric said before the show, we know it's late or early or whatever time over there, but we appreciate you hopping on with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Let's get right into it. Main eventing Korakuen Hall is something that only a small percentage of wrestlers have ever done, and you are now in that list, or on that list, excuse me. What does that mean to you personally?
Oh, it was crazy. Even though I knew that I was having the championship main event, the championship match, I was not aware that it was going to be the main event at Korakuen Hall. So when I found out that detail, It was so, so special. I've wrestled at Korakuen Hall quite a few times now, and every time I wrestle in the building, I think, wow, it's always a pinch me moment. And I think this is such an incredible historical venue. And to headline it in a singles championship match, I just actually could not believe it. I was so overcome with excitement, nerves, energy. It was a moment that I will remember for the rest of my life.
I love that. I love that. And, because again, we've only ever seen it on TV. So, tell us a little bit about watching an event on TV at Korakuen Hall, but then also just walking around in that building, knowing the history, knowing the iconic matches that have had there. I mean, I can't even imagine what that could even begin to feel like. So you can shed a little bit of light on that.
It's a really amazing atmosphere. They have wrestling posters all over the walls as you enter, and they have historic championships, they have belts, they have cups, they have trophies. It's a really, really beautiful venue, but it's also very old school. You totally, as soon as you walk in there, you get these old school flashbacks, and you just feel the history and the buzz and the atmosphere.
Were you able, and I know you said pinch yourself moment, were you able to take a step back and kind of soak it in of like, I'm doing this, I'm main eventing, or were you just completely locked into the match?
I did. I took multiple moments actually throughout the day where I thought, I can't believe this. Earlier on, when I arrived at the venue and the ring was being built, they had all of the match cards going on the big screen, and then my photograph came up of my match graphic with Miku, and I was just like, wow, that's me up there. I couldn't believe it. And I took a look around the venue with all the house lights on and not hardly a single person in there, and then my face on the big screen, and I teared up actually, and I just thought, I can't believe this moment is happening. It's something that I've always dreamed about. I have so many goals in wrestling, so many bucket list items, and to think that I main evented Korakuen Hall. And before going out to Japan for this tour with Marvelous, it was a surprise to me. I didn't have this match scheduled as I left the UK and I arrived in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all set up whilst I was out over there. And it really was a surprise and a shock. And it's hard to register all of those feelings in the moment because there's so much adrenaline, there's so many emotions behind it all. But I wish I could go and live that day all over again.
And now that you've had a few weeks to digest and breathe and kind of reflect on it, what stands out the most about sharing the ring with Miku in that environment?
I think because it was the big Korakuen Hall show and we were main event, we really both brought so much passion and intensity to the match. We'd had a story over the last couple of weeks, if not months, and we were really, really ready to get in there and get our hands on each other and to start this match and to really show everybody what we've got. And it really did feel electric.
Following the match, we saw praise from all over the world from fans, and then peers as well, including WWE's Piper Niven, who said you should wear that accomplishment as a badge of honor. Does it mean that much more when your peers are shouting you out and the respect that you're getting from that? Like, what does that mean for you?
Absolutely. I knew it was a huge moment for me and for my career, but you don't expect there to be so much love directed your way on the internet. And I can be bad about shouting from the rooftops about the things that I'm doing. Sometimes I find the whole social media game a little bit difficult. But to have those sorts of comments, especially from someone like Piper Niven, I know her from back in the day on the English independent scene as Viper, and we have wrestled in the past, but nowhere near as much as I would have liked to. And that was really, really a surprise to me, but such a beautiful, lovely moment. And it made me remember, when you're on a tour in Japan, the schedule is so busy and it's constantly moving. The next day after that main event match, I had to fly to a different part of Japan to main event for Marvelous for our tag team championship. So it's almost like, great, we did it. I'm pleased with that. On to the next. Whereas when you get these moments of praise, it makes me stop. And instead of chasing the future goals and the future opportunities, it really is that stop and smell the roses moment. And I really thank her for that. And it was so lovely to read.
Yeah, and I mean that's certainly understandable, especially because wrestling is such it's constantly evolving. There's always something new in the news cycle. There's always another great main event to watch. But taking the moment to sit and reflect, and not just that slice of relaxation, validation, nirvana, but then having to, like you said, next day you continue back to business. I mean, I think that's such a great mentality to have. How long did you spend over in Japan as part of this tour?
I was there for 3 months this tour.
Oh wow.
What is it about Japan that makes it so special?
Oh, I love the entire attitude that they have towards wrestling. Wrestling is it's so well respected over there. Everyone that you meet knows what professional wrestling is, and they have such a huge respect for professional wrestling. And the fact that you can live out there being a professional wrestler your whole life, training, wrestling, really dedicating to what you want to do is incredible. And the training out there is top notch. The shows, they're so professional, and there's such a level of high talent. For me, when I'm in Japan, I just feel like that's the place where I need to be. And I always feel as though I'm at the top of my game, and Japan just really, really brings something out of it. Really, that fire is really roaring when I'm out and in Japan, and I just love it so much.
I mean, not just getting able to immerse yourself in the culture and acknowledging the excitement and passion that Japanese wrestling fans have. I mean, you became a part of the conversation. I mean, this match was in Pro Wrestling Weekly, so could you have imagined from the second row at Pro Wrestling Eve that you would see yourself in Japanese wrestling media?
I know, it's absolutely crazy. Every single time I'm in the Pro Wrestling Weekly magazine, I just can't believe it. And they sell it at our local shop from close to the dojo where I stay with Marvelous. And almost every day I'm looking to see if there's a new one out, and to read the new articles and to look at all of the pictures. And it was really, really amazing to be able to feature in it, and the fact that they covered the match was really special. And of course, I brought a copy back to the UK with me.
As a father trying to get his daughter into wrestling right now, what was your dad's secret?
Funnily enough, wrestling wasn't our family that watched it. Nobody in my family watched wrestling. I had no idea what wrestling was. It wasn't until I was about 12, almost 13 years old. Me and my sister, we turned on the TV, and my dad had left it on Sky Sports. And it was the main event of Raw. And it was Randy Orton and Triple H. And we turned it on just at the entrances. And I genuinely had no clue what wrestling was.
Yeah.
And when we watched that match, we were both awestruck. We were like, wow, this is the coolest thing we've ever seen in our lives. It honestly was love at first sight for me. And from that moment forward, I watched every single WWE show that I could. I started researching into the indies, watching indie shows. I was hooked for life. And the moment I saw women wrestling, I was like, wow, this is what I want to be when I'm older.
Love that.
That's so incredible. Tell us a little bit more about that first Pro Wrestling Eve show. Did you have to convince your dad to take you, or was this a no-brainer of they're in town, let's go?
Yes. So my sister actually found out about Pro Wrestling Eve. She was, on the social medias, and she was so invested into wrestling as well with me, and would watch it almost every day every day that we could would watch wrestling. Ever since turning that TV on, we were both just sucked in. So she found that it was an all-women show, this was 15 or 16 years ago now. So it was just historical. And we couldn't believe there was going to be an all-women's wrestling show in England. I think it was about a 2-hour drive away from us, and we had to beg and plead our parents to take us, but they did, and we ended up going and watching the first ever Pro Wrestling Eve show and the following one, and I was in the audience when they crowned the first ever Pro Wrestling Eve championship.
That's awesome. Was it going to those shows when you decided, hey, I'm going to do this, or was there something else that clicked for you?
It really helped. I think it was in that moment watching all of those incredible women wrestling in England that I thought, wow, this is exactly what I want to do, and that really, really motivated me to start wrestling. But ever since I first discovered it, I knew that was what I wanted to do, and that's what I wanted to be. It was just more so having the confidence to pursue it. And obviously I was pretty young, so it was more so just working on having the confidence and the fitness and the agility to actually be able to say, okay, let's give this a go.
Yeah.
So discovering wrestling at such an older age, in your teens, when you went to the family and was like, I'm going to do this, did they kind of look at you with three heads, or what did they think about that?
Yeah, I think because I was still a teenager and I found my first wrestling school, and I was like, hey, please drive me here and take me to training. I think they just thought, oh, it's a great after school club, it's a great hobby to have. But I really think that's all they thought it was ever going to be. When I said what I want to do in my life is, I want to be a professional wrestler, I want to be a superstar on TV. I think they're like, okay. I definitely don't think they expected me to still be wrestling at the age that I am now. So yeah, it did get quite a few mixed reactions.
Yeah. What was their reaction to hearing about the main event at Korakuen and getting to spend 3 months in Japan? How did they react when you tell them the history you're making?
Yeah, they're very, very proud of me. So it's really lovely.
The UK wrestling scene has changed so much over the last decade. Where do you think British wrestling is today compared to when you first broke in?
Oh, it's so different to when I first was, watching those shows on the independent scene, and first discovered that England had it. When I first discovered what the Indies even was, Britain has been known for having good wrestling and having the catch style and doing, the shoot hold and the Olympic sort of wrestling style. But there's so many companies now, and so many companies that are at an absolute high level in wrestling. Only a couple of months ago, just before I came out to Japan, Pro Wrestling Eve we had the Wrestle Queendom 8 event at the O2 Indigo, and that set the record for the highest attended all-women's wrestling show in Europe. So we're literally making history, and there's so many incredibly talented wrestlers here in the UK. There's so many and so many incredible schools. And the fact that wrestling has just become more and more popular in England is really brilliant.
Yeah, and I want to get your thoughts on this because, they took the world by storm when they announced it, but Big Damo and Nikki Storm acquiring Progress. Being in the UK, what has the reaction been to that acquisition? And I think they've had 1 or 2 shows under their belt now, but how does everybody feel about, again, another just monumental change in British wrestling?
I think everyone is just really excited to see what's going to happen, to have 2 huge established names take over a company like that. And of course, they frequented the independent scene here in the UK for years before getting picked up with the WWE. So, you know, they really understand how the scene works and future stars. And I think it's really exciting that we have. I think it's really exciting, this new takeover, and to have a new exciting outlook on things and to be able to bring a different perspective to the table is great. And I'm really quite excited to see how it goes and to see what happens.
Fantastic.
What's the biggest difference between the very early version of Nightshade and the one that just made event at Korakuen Hall?
Oh my gosh, there's so many differences. Like a totally different person. It's kind of crazy. I just feel as though throughout my years of wrestling, especially my recent years, I feel like I've really discovered the performer that I am and the type of person that I want to be inside and outside of the ring. You know, I feel like with all of these life experiences, I've really become so much more confident in myself and my ability, and I think that it really is night and day from the girl that started training to wrestle and the girl that you see now.
For anybody watching out there that may want to follow in the footsteps of Nightshade, what do you think is the secret to, you know, tapping into that confidence in order to be the best performer that you can be?
It definitely took me a long time. It really did. There were many times, especially earlier on in my career, but not super early on in my career,
Yeah.
where I would be getting bigger opportunities and the pressure would absolutely get to me. The nerves would ruin it for me and I would crumble. Whereas now I feel as though I've had enough opportunities and big scale matches where that's where I feel like I thrive. I feel like I thrive under the pressure and the spotlight, and I love performing in the big arenas. Like the bigger the better for me now. But I think it really is a journey, especially as I was never the most confident person, and I've never been the most confident in my ability. I've always wanted to learn. I've always wanted to get better. I've always wanted to improve, and I still do now. I'm not at my final form yet, and I don't. You know, I believe it's constantly a learning journey, and I'm always just wanting to get better and be the best version of myself that I can be. And I think knowing that is what makes you think, okay, I'm here for a reason and I can do this and I'm gonna do this. And then you go out there and you do it. And I think because I've created such a character for Nightshade, Nightshade is the opposite of me as a person. Nightshade is confident, Nightshade is brash, Nightshade is fierce. And she goes out there and she'll fight anybody and she won't back down to anything. And I think creating such a persona, such a character, when I step foot in that ring, I really feel transformed. And I'm no longer myself. I really am this Nightshade character, and that's how I behave and that's how I react. And again, it's taken a long time and taken a lot of work, but just continuing doing show after show and training after training has really helped me to understand who I want to be out there.
Countless main events, countless big shows. But what's the Nightshade hidden gem that everyone should go watch?
Oh, I don't know. I'm dreadful when it comes to favorites. I literally take like every experience as its own. I try not to compare but I genuinely think I did a good job and it was a good show at Korakuen Hall. And I am proud of that match. And I hope that people would enjoy it, especially as we had such animosity. You know, me and Miku, we couldn't wait for that bell to ring. And I feel like it was a really intense, hopefully exciting match to watch. It definitely felt exciting to me being in there. So I think, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, I think that's a really good one. Similarly, I'm always really proud of my match that I had at RCW in Spain when I was their women's champion. It was against Takumi Iroha from Marvelous, and this is what sparked my connection with Marvelous and how I first got invited on my first tour with them, because of this main event championship match, where Iroha challenged me for the Spanish championship. So that's up on YouTube for free. And I always think back to that one and think I really, really enjoyed myself out there. I absolutely love wrestling Japanese opponents. I think the Japanese style of wrestling, I absolutely adore, and I do find it brings out the best in me.
And kind of along those lines, I mean, you've wrestled in, you started in the UK, but you've branched out to Europe, you've branched out to Japan. Tell us a little bit about the experience of audience interaction with these matches. How, what do those particular audiences react for more than what we might here in the States?
I think every country that you go to is slightly different. Even the wrestling audience in the UK, I find is different to the wrestling audience in the States. And I find, again, in Europe, each country that you go to is slightly different, and the sort of things that they react to. And especially Japan is a very different audience. Japan, the culture is so revolved around respect that they're a lot more shy, they're a lot more reserved, and they tend to do the clapping, and they don't particularly like to boo anybody. Everyone, for the majority of people, it's usually more babyface, and it's a competitive match instead of this is the big bad villain, this is the superhero babyface.
Yeah.
But that's always something I like to try and push. I like to try and push those boundaries out there, and I love to try and get booed.
That's funny. Who would you consider your biggest rival at this point in your career?
Ooh. I think in Japan, my biggest rival would be Takumi Iroha. She is the face of Marvelous, and Marvelous is my home company out there. And I have challenged her once for the main Marvelous Championship, and unfortunately I was unsuccessful. But myself and Nyla Rose, the Kaiju Queens, just defeated her and Sari Spark Rush for the tag team championships, our first successful defense of the tag team titles. And I think me and Takumi, we keep going back and forth, and I'll say she's the rival.
Come on, let's get another shot at that title. Let's go.
Yes.
And kind of along you've mentioned Nyla Rose. You've had tag team success with her, and as well as Sky Smithson. What have these partnerships taught you that singles wrestling may not?
It's always really, really interesting to have a partner in there that you're able to bounce off of. I've always loved tag team wrestling, and I think it makes you think about everything. It really makes you think about the purpose of parts of matches, and it makes you think, how can you not only deliver well yourself, but how can you bond and create chemistry and flow with somebody else? And I think I really enjoy working the tag team style, and I love doing tag matches. And I found I've had really great chemistry with both Sky Smithson and Nyla Rose. So I'm very lucky with my tag team partners.
I love that.
So I'm sure when you started this journey in pro wrestling, that bucket list was very long. You've checked off a ton of those boxes. What's left on that list?
There's still a lot left. I think I'm always aiming for the next, and I would really love to venture out more around the globe. I would love to wrestle in Australia. I'd love to go down under, do Australia, New Zealand. And I'd also love to make my way over to Canada. I've always wanted to go to Canada. And I would love to tackle the States. I've only ever wrestled there once, which was not this WrestleMania, the WrestleMania before, the first one in Vegas. And that was my American debut. And I would absolutely love to come across the pond and go over to the States. And of course, I would love a contract. I'd love to be signed to a major company and be, living my dream of wrestling on TV.
Is there someone, and this is just a little bit of wishful thinking, past or present, that you would love to share the ring with that you have not yet?
Oh, there's so many people. Honestly, I feel like the list is endless. I would love to share the ring with a couple of the girls that were there on the scene when I first started watching wrestling. Because I think the origin is so important. What really made me fall in love with wrestling in that era, I will never forget. And that passion that I felt and that excitement that I felt as a teenager watching it. And those are the likes of Mickie James, Alicia Fox, those Tara, like Melina, all of that era for me is what made me fall in love with wrestling. So I would absolutely love to have matches with some of those people and just think, wow, that's the reason I got into wrestling.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we thank you so much for this conversation. But before we close, where can everybody find you on social media, and where are you in the upcoming weeks and months?
Yes, so you can find me on socials. I'm Nightshade Wrestler on Facebook, Instagram, Nightshade PW on Twitter, Nightshade Wrestler on TikTok, Nightshade Wrestler on YouTube. I also have a Patreon where I do the exclusive backstage look. So you will literally feel like you are a professional wrestler. You see it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the early nights, the long, the whole show day. You get exclusive content on everything. And now that I'm back in the UK, I've not even been back for a week. I literally arrived less than a week ago back in the UK, but I am nice and busy, which is awesome. I'm currently on tour with MPW at Butlins. So I'm wrestling at all the Butlins in the country, doing the summer camps, and we're actually headlining Butlins, which the wrestling hasn't headlined in years. So we have the biggest stage of them all, which is really exciting. And yeah, you can catch me at Pro Wrestling Eve. I'm always a regular there. So
Wonderful. Well, Nightshade, congratulations again on all of the success. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we know that this is, you've just scratched the surface of everything that you can do within this industry. We can't wait to see it. And we hope to have you back soon.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a wonderful evening and enjoy all of the other guests.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Of course. Thank you to Nightshade for joining us. Again, fantastic conversation. I mean, when I literally was just scrolling Twitter and saw that she main evented Korakuen Hall, and I was like, I gotta learn more. And that's why we do what we do. That's
there we
love
go.
those conversations. Yeah. So thank you so much to Nightshade.
See what happens when you just go check out independent wrestling. Go do it.
Yeah.
If there's a local independent wrestling anywhere near you, go check them out. You never know what's going to happen.
And if you're not sure where to look, seriously, go to @HotTagApp on X. HotTag is a relatively new website that has been developed, but it can help you to find independent wrestling shows in your area. It lets you know where they're coming. You can purchase tickets as well. So it's truly a way to find out what's going on in your backyard and to support these people that are putting their bodies on the line to entertain us.
I don't know what happened, man. The allergies. I must have been in the zoo today. I'm feeling it. I'm sorry. Maybe this will. Everyone.
No, you're fine. Did you know that according to Vince Russo, there's 17 ways to tell if you're a fucking mark?
Oh, is there?
Yeah, he wrote a book apparently, and there's an entire chapter about 17 things that make you a mark. So Well,
many have we done?
Wilborn and Andy took the test on what culture earlier today, and according to Russo, if you even have one of these, like you're apparently a mark. I didn't write the full list down, but if you prefer if you prefer one company over the other, if you have a large number of black T-shirts with pit stains was another one.
I don't know if I have pit stains on them, but
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying is that I have a lot of black T-shirts. They don't have pit stains. Yeah, no, I don't.
I have the same Shibashi shirt. It does not have pit stains on
it.
Shout out. Yeah. See, there's no pit stains. There's no.
None at all. Yeah.
And what if I am a mark? I prefer the term junkie. How about that?
I do too. See, it's in the name. I know. That's why it works. That's why it works.
Marks. We're just pro wrestling junkies. That's it.
Yeah. We have Yeah, exactly. We have a few minutes before our next guest. So let's talk a little bit about some of the latest news and rumors here. Tony Khan did media call for redemption earlier today and cleared up some rumors regarding Anna Jay, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Mello. Sammy Guevara, it sounds like, is remaining with AEW, but Ty has asked for a release. It did not happen in 2025, as a lot of people speculated, but it's happened within the last couple of weeks. Sounds like that release has been granted. It sounds like it's not a desire to move to another company, but Ty may be taking a break from wrestling altogether.
Yeah, I mean, they're parents too, so maybe she wants to be at home more and spend some time with her kids. So that could be it. Maybe they're trying for another one. That kind of that also goes into it. So yeah, I mean, they're allowed to go live their lives. It's fine. Hopefully we see Sammy Guevara on TV some more. But yeah, like this is perfectly fine. This is what real life happens. So it's all good.
Yeah.
What else did he say? He said something else, but it'll come to me later on. But are you excited for this card? I've seen a lot of mixed emotions online. Like, I think everyone feels, and I don't know if this could become an issue, but everybody knows the wrestling is going to be great, right?
Yeah.
At what point do we go, I need the stories to be great, or like, I'll just watch Dynamite. I don't need to pay $50 to watch, and I'm not saying this is, but like to watch an episode of Dynamite, because I'm going to see great matches on Dynamite either way too. So if there's no story and there's not a ton involved in any of these matches, I don't know. Is that worth $50?
Yeah, this one, because again, this was one that was added in what, March or April, if that.
Yeah, if that.
So this was not in the original. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the original plan. Because their last show was Forbidden. That was June. No, it was my birthday. Yeah, Forbidden Doors in June. Mm-hmm. So realistically, they could have gotten through July without.
Well, they had the Grand Slam. That's what we thought.
Grand Slam. They also had Beach Break. So we saw some big moments happening across those shows. Yeah. Was this show necessary? No. I mean, just looking at the card that we have now. I mean, we talked a little bit about it yesterday on Body Slam. There were some matches added since we've talked last. We've got a 6-way ladder match for the number one contender to Kyle Fletcher's title, and then a double chain tag team match with Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs, which I think is really fucking cool. Just because I think that this one will continue to play into that larger coping cage. Possible bunch of teams in a ladder match. Yeah.
We probably will get a bunch of teams in a ladder match.
I hope so. I mean, if they created an entirely new match concept as far as Death's Door to put 12 guys inside of a cage, I mean, I don't think that 5-6 teams is all that unreasonable. If you are trying to, 1, sell Wembley, 2, this is going to be kind of the crescendo of that final legendary tag team run for Cope and Cage, and a chance to hopefully put over another up and coming tag team in the process in a match that Cope and Cage made legendary. Yeah.
Do it in the way you can, right? I think they're going to have the opportunity to be the last TLC match with Cope and Cage potentially. So yeah, you want to make this one feel huge. Let's go back to the 6-way ladder match if we can. If we still have time.
Yeah.
We're still good?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
So right now it's Commander, Jack Perry, Speedball, Mort, and the Beast Mortis. There are 2 more qualifying matches. So you have Leo Rush and El Clone, which it should be Leo Rush, but I think it's going to be El Clone. And then you also have Nick Wayne and AR Fox. I think Nick Wayne will be in this one.
Yeah, and he's coming off Best of the Super Juniors, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. That usually
bodes well.
Yeah, adds a little swagger to you once you come back to the States. So I mean,
so let's say we had El Clone and Nick Wayne, to Commander, Jack Perry, Speedball, and the Beast Mortis. Who do you want to see win this?
I'll tell you right now, just because I did submit our predictions for our league. Shout out to Hitting the Turnbuckle. I did pick Speedball for this one. But I could see Nick Wayne as well.
I think Speedball is the correct pick because it's the story behind it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling, though, since it's not directly Speedball and Kyle Fletcher feuding, and it's more Jet Speed and Speedball, right? I have a feeling we're probably going to get, like, Commander.
I could see that, too.
Doesn't feel like that. And it doesn't specifically say at All In, so maybe it's not at All In.
It
doesn't feel like an All In match.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not necessarily worried about whether it does happen at All In or not, because, I mean, at this point, we kind of have an idea of at least a couple of those marquee matches that you are tuning in to see, Ospreay and Omega, and then potentially a ladder match with Cope and Cage. Mercedes also has her shot there, and I mean, I think I think Willow ends up taking that spot. That's just me, just given the history. So I think you've got 3 pillars that you can kind of build the rest of the card around that I'm not necessarily bothered, annoyed, or upset, or feel any sort of negative way should Commander walk out with this title match.
I guess there's still a lot of time too. They still have Grand Slam. Maybe that's where they do it, is Grand Slam with Commander.
Yeah, which is true. Yeah. But no, this is fine. It's just another.
What's about to bug me again?
What's that?
As I was scrolling through, kind of seeing if they had any more announcements for the pay-per-view. Saturday on Collision, the AEW Trio Champions are on the line. How do you say it? The conglomeration? See, I gotta say it.
Conglomeration. No, that's how you say it.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
They are defending their trios.
This is Vacation Podcast, Dad.
They are defending their trios championships against Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, who are currently the Ring of Honor trios champions.
You're about to yuck some yum, aren't you?
Quit having your Ring of Honor champions lose on television. If you want me to pay for this, you gotta make me want to see it.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It is one of the most frustrating things. It is one of the most frustrating things. Because even with NXT, Kevin Owens beat John Cena. We saw that. What did you want to do after you saw that happen? I want to go watch NXT.
Yeah.
We already were. But if you were a casual fan,
it was Pete,
and you see, oh, what's NXT? Like, you didn't know.
We ain't never gonna have it that good again, man.
But I'm just saying, if you see another champion come up and beat somebody that's regularly on TV, you're gonna get viewers to go want to watch the champion that just did that. Stop having your champions lose. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Again, at least around here, neither company is immune to that criticism. Nobody's immune to that. And this is definitely one of Tony's big things that irks the shit out of me is, Bandito is fucking phenomenal. I don't think that anybody disagrees with that statement. But when he's, world champion of your brand, and when you think about the history of the Ring of Honor World Championship, and everybody that's held it before him, it doesn't have that same fire that it used to.
No, not at all.
No,
not at all. It's frustrating,
but it's neither here nor there. It is now podcast that it's time to introduce our next guest. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Love it, because every once in a while, professional wrestling gives us a performer who just can't be put into a box. Some wrestlers are known for championships. Some are known for great matches. Others are remembered because they make you feel something every single time that they walk through the curtain. And our next guest is one of those rare performers. Whether it is his unmistakable charisma, his connection with not just the Coastal Empire Wrestling faithful, but all across the Southeast, or the gravity-defying style that earned him the nickname the Flying Fro, Michael Walker has become one of the defining figures of independent wrestling throughout the Southeast. But this weekend, a remarkable career reaches its final chapter. At Legends of the Low Country, Michael Walker will wrestle the final match of his career. He chose to share that moment with the man who introduced him to wrestling, his own father, David Reigns, and what should have been a celebration quickly turned into betrayal, leaving Michael beaten, bloodied, and preparing for one last fight against the person who knows him literally better than anyone. Tonight isn't just about promoting a match. It's about reflecting on a career, celebrating a legacy, and talking about what comes after the final bell. So pull up a seat and please welcome the Flying Fro, Michael Walker, to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Fro, welcome back to the table, man. How are you?
I'm all right, man. That intro just gave me like crazy goosebumps. That was awesome.
Well, this isn't just another interview, right? Like,
no.
Has it started to set in yet? Like, the reality is this is it after this match?
Oh yeah, dude. Because I've known this is coming for a while. Obviously when I was 17, I had a spinal fusion surgery, 2 metal rods all the way down my back. So I knew, like, even when I started wrestling, I knew I was on borrowed time. And then it's just kind of over the last year, the decision it was more of a decision like I'm gonna get out while I can do the things that I can do, while I'm still able to perform the way that everybody knows that I could perform, give the fans what they expect to see from me before my body starts really shutting down on me. And it's already kind of started. It's hard to notice, like if you see it on camera, it's hard to notice, but even my back, you can tell, is like curved more.
Yeah.
Like it, because I had scoliosis growing up, and that's why I had that spinal fusion. But you can kind of tell even on camera, if you look back 2 or 3 years ago on the YouTube channel and compare it to now, like there's a definite change. And it's hard. It's definitely very hard. And I think it's the right decision, but it's not an easy one to make.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, give us a little insight to this, because how difficult is it for a wrestler to admit, your body's telling you something that your heart and your mind don't necessarily want to hear?
I mean, nobody ever wants to call it quits on their career. I mean, like you saw, like Ric Flair has had 80 retirement matches, like nobody ever. And they say you're never done with the business whenever you do retire. You never really retire, but I'm trying to put into words. You can't really describe the feeling of knowing when it's time. You just kind of do. And like my body is starting to break down a little bit, and I don't want to be in the position where I'm on a show and somebody gets seriously injured, or I'm on a show and I get seriously injured, or I don't want to be one of those guys that sticks around way past their time and all I can do is headlocks and stuff like that. And especially the way, like, I think that a lot of my matches are very story driven and all about that connection that I build with the crowd. And I just don't want to put myself in a position where I can't give the people that pay money to see us wrestle. I don't want to put myself in a position where I can't give them that, and it's there's no way to really describe it with words, but when it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the final match. You announced your retirement, and then you chose your opponent, and it was your father. So what made David Reigns the person that you wanted standing across the ring?
Well, there's a lot of different things that really go into me and Dad in my final match. obviously, like in the Coastal Empire, there's never been a father-son match. So that was one of the big things I really wanted to do, the first, father-son match. Just go ahead and etch that in history, have that. Even after I'm gone, that'll always be mine, But,
Yeah.
I've probably wrestled my dad 15 times throughout my 5-year career. And I've won championships all over the place. Like, I've won awards. The one thing I've never really earned in professional wrestling is the respect for my father, like as a wrestler. Because even he was the man who trained me, and he didn't even want to train me whenever I joined his training school. He didn't want to train me because he didn't think I'd be good enough, and he didn't think that I could ever go anywhere with it. And 5 years down the road, it's the same. It's the same thing. He doesn't think. He says I'm a quitter because I'm retiring. He says he didn't raise no quitter.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that moment. I mean, instead of embracing what should have been, this moment about legacy and closing a career on a high note, your own dad blindsides you. I mean, are you angry? Are you shocked? Are you heartbroken? Like take us through kind of that moment.
Yeah, I definitely would say heartbroken is the best way to describe it. Like, I've been stabbed in the back a lot, and I've done my fair share of stabbing people in the back too. It's wrestling. We all get there. But no, like in that moment, being that vulnerable in front of that many people, and sharing my heart, explaining what's happening, like one of the biggest moments of my career is I'm having to tell the people that have supported me. Even whenever I turned my back on them for 10 months, they supported me through it, and they were right there with me the whole time. And then I'm out there and I'm telling them, this is it,
Yeah.
And then he gives me 2 pile drivers, and he takes his belt off and he whips me across the back with his belt. In the moment where I'm being the most vulnerable, the most emotional state, it truly was me being blindsided. I thought just for a moment we could share a moment like that,
Yeah.
But one more chance. I got one more chance to cap off my career. One more chance to prove to my dad that I do belong in professional wrestling, to prove to my dad that he didn't make a mistake by training me to become a professional wrestler. One more chance to earn my dad's respect.
So how are you with all that you just said? This is not just a rivalry. It's family. It's the final time. How are you preparing emotionally for that?
I just have to let it come and go. I have to take everything that I feel in stride, and I just can't let it control me, because if I become too emotional, I'm going to go out there and get slaughtered on Saturday. Dad is a very cold, calculated killer when he's in the ring. He's super technical. It's tap or snap when he gets a hold of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as the emotions come and I feel everything that I'm feeling, I can't latch on to anything, and I have to wait. I have to wait till the match is over to really let myself feel the emotions,
Yeah.
So let's put the rivalry aside for a second. Let's look back at the last 5 years. What are some of the first memories that always come to mind? I'm sure there's been some introspection over the last weeks and months.
Yeah, I think some of the coolest stuff I've ever got to do in my career, I got to do I was the first match at Riot on Row, the frat house show with the Exotic Youth. That was super cool. I've never been a part of something like that since, and then also, like, wrestling has brought me so many more opportunities outside of just being in the ring, like Cruel versus Matt Tremont, the cinematic death match, the death of.
Oh, yeah.
I got my first movie experience by working with those guys, And then, I mean, of course, like just the people that I've met along the way have helped me. Like, I got to do extra work for TNA, stuff like that. Super cool, just because of the people that I met, and some of my best friends in the entire world I met through wrestling. So there's so many memories. The rivalry with Hakeem, and just like the
No.
The amount of storytelling that we could do and the way we did it differently. You know, I had a broken foot and we worked with it. And we went with it, you know, like stuff like that. And then to cap it off when we won Feud of the Year, Match of the Year.
Yeah. Man, that rivalry almost ended our fucking friendship. Jesus.
Yes, it did. That was a tough one. When you kind of look back, obviously, you know, everyone has their favorite match, right? But I love this question. We just asked Nightshade the same thing. What is your hidden gem?
I think my hidden gem that a lot of people, when it happened, everybody said it was an awesome match, and it was like, that's the best match I've ever seen. You know, everybody gave me that. But then everybody quickly forgot about it because of the Hakeem Young feud.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and Rob Killjoy to start that feud.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck! That was a good one. That was a really fucking good one. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this, but like halfway through that match, I concussed myself.
Oh shit!
I went for a drop kick off the middle rope, hit the back of my head, and I was concussed. Couldn't remember my own name. Wow. Yeah, and for the match to turn out as well as it did, it was awesome. That's a lot of credit to Rob Killjoy on that too. But,
yeah. Fuck, could have fooled me with that.
Yeah.
Man.
That, and then the first time me and Hunter James wrestled at NCW in Cornelia, Georgia, that match was like my first match against a top tier talent.
Mm-hmm.
It was like young guy. I was like 8 months into the business at that point in time. And they put me with him, and they were like, yeah, so you say you can hang. Let's see, you know.
Yeah.
Sink or swim. That's how you do it.
So Flying Fro is not one to do a ton of podcast interviews, and we've been fortunate enough to have you on a couple of times, which we're always appreciative of. And as we look ahead to this weekend, indie wrestling, it's all about those relationships between wrestlers and the fans. What would you like to say directly to everybody who has supported you over the years?
Thank you. I love you. You guys have taken a skinny white kid with an afro and turned him into a superstar. I don't know how I got here, but because of them, I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went from basically being a comedy gimmick at the very beginning of my career to just taking off because they supported me and they showed love and they came to see me. So thank you. I love you.
No. Well, we thank you again for putting your body on the line and doing what you did. That was, you know, we got to experience it a couple times live, and it just it was great. So thank you, you know, from at least us and then all the fans out there. What's next after this final match?
Well, I don't know. That's the hard part, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay around the business for sure. I just don't know what aspect. I might go to commentary, ring announcing, you know, something like that. I'm involved here with the Coastal Empire Wrestling Training School, so we'll see. There's plenty of avenues that maybe we can walk down. We just I don't know yet. You know, it's to be determined.
Love it. Well, as we kind of wrap up here, we're gonna have you jump in time a little bit. Let's just say it's 10 years from now, and a fan has discovered a Michael Walker match for the very first time and asked, who was Michael Walker? How do you want somebody to answer that question?
I think the way I'd prefer somebody to answer that question was that Michael Walker was a kid with a dream that never gave up, and he pursued it with all of his heart until his body wouldn't let him anymore.
Well said. Very well said. Fro, congratulations on an incredible career. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. We can overlook kind of your shenanigans with the Boss Daddy of earlier this year.
Made it man.
Hey, whatever gets you to the dance. I mean, I again, you know, we've always been in awe of your work, and
one-time Coastal Empire Wrestling heavyweight champion, baby.
Hey,
can't take it away from you, man.
No, they cannot. No, they cannot. How do you get there? Congratulations.
But yeah, Michael, congratulations. Thank you again, as always, for joining us and always being gracious with your time. Good luck this weekend, and man, we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, best of luck this weekend, man. Man, that's it's
Dude,
not often.
I remember when we started this, man.
Yeah,
real quick, I'm gonna peel back the curtain. I know
Please
we got
do.
a guest in the waiting room. We will be there in just a second. But I remember when we first started doing this, we started talking to Bryce, and we were just trying to come up with ideas, right? Of man, who can we have on? Who's somebody we need to look at? And every time we had a different guest on. When we started getting guests regularly, they kept saying Flying Fro. You got to see who the Flying Fro is, and we're just who's the Flying Fro? And we finally went to a show and saw him, and we were both like, "Oh, we get it now." It's one of my earliest memories of this podcast, and that's shout out independent wrestling. It's the best.
For sure, yeah, and it's not often that we find ourselves in a position where we get to kind of bookend these final conversations as people are winding down their in-ring careers. I don't know. I mean, no matter whether it's indies or WWE or AEW, TNA, it's like for me it's just kind of there's always going to be that kind of pang of sadness, and man, it sucks that they're not going to be around for us to see perform anymore. But again, I don't think that we've seen the last of Michael Walker in wrestling, so kick your dad's ass, man.
I agree, but Bryce, come on.
Oh, okay. No, enough of this tit.
Bryce.
Get that fucking shit off of here. No.
Chill out.
Not tonight. He had his time. He had, a fucking hour last night?
He had his time.
Good. Yeah. Podcast Dad, we got one more guest joining us tonight. And I got to say, man, this one... This one's pretty cool. He's not a stranger to the Junkies. And
every time
we've
he's
got
here, it's ratings.
It is.
Pull up a seat. Pull up a seat, everyone. The ratings maker's coming.
Yeah. But the last time he was here, he was in an extremely different place. He lost the Coastal Empire Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, found himself at the back of the line wondering when or even if another opportunity was going to come. But instead of complaining, he did what he always does and went right back to work. So fast forward to today. Not only did he earn another opportunity, he reclaimed the Coastal Empire Wrestling Heavyweight Championship from Flying Fro Michael Walker, has defended it against another friend of the show, Drew Hood, and now heads into Legends of the Low Country 3, carrying the biggest prize in Coastal Empire Wrestling. But if he wants to leave Savannah with that championship this weekend, he's going to have to survive perhaps his biggest challenge yet, the monstrous Cruel. So while we're going to spend tonight talking a little bit of Coastal Empire Wrestling, we do also have to ask him about making some waves with one Avery Styles and see what he's got to say about what happened there. So let's not waste another second. Everybody pull up a seat. Welcome Hollywood Hunter James back to the Wrestling Junkies. God, fucking okay. Right. I'm not surprised.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
how you doing, man?
Well, you just talked about how long it took me to get this damn thing back, so I might as well just show some love. And I thought, what would be the greatest way to walk into this podcast? It would be just me staring at it like Tommaso Ciampa. So, Goldie's home.
I like it. At least he didn't play Lady Gaga Just Dance like fucking Tim Bosby did and tried to dance. Tim Bosby dancing. Never mind. Anyway. Welcome back.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, congratulations to the best heavyweight champion we've ever had on the show. How does it feel knowing that you went to the back of the line, worked your way back up, and finally got it back?
10 months of chasing and uphill battles for sure. Not many downhill battles, luckily. Staying pretty high on the tippy top of the mountaintop. Riding high, riding those waves. I got through Christian Taylor, got through Simon Sermon. And Fro really repaid a favor that I gave to him when I gave him his job back right before Legends of the Low Country 2. He was a fired man, and I gave him his job back to face me because I hadn't beaten him at Coastal Empire Wrestling. I'd beaten him everywhere else in this world, but I didn't beat him at his home. And then it became my home this past year, specifically when regain this gold. I beat him. I took the key to the house. I would argue that it was my house before I lost this championship, but there was an argument to be made with Fro being there and being the other top babyface and the ones the crowd loves. It was Fro and Hollywood, and now we don't have to worry about that. Not because he's retiring. I understand where he came from. I understand every move he made because I made that move in other companies, and I made it very blatantly obvious that I think he took the Hunter James playbook and ran. And quite honestly, and you know what? He may have even done it just a little bit better because he got to the heavyweight championship faster than I've ever gotten to a heavyweight championship. So I can't blame him. I still have love in my heart for him, and I hope that he does well with his future endeavors. But I feel fantastic.
No, I mean that's as you should, man. I mean, this is we talked.
And whoever bought this damn thing needs to learn. Yo, TSA doesn't like 10 pounds in a fucking bag. This damn thing is heavy.
That might be the most first world wrestler problem I've ever fucking heard.
First world problem.
Okay.
My heavyweight title's too heavy.
Every time I go
too
through,
buttery.
beep. I don't know. I'm really good at wrestling. Please stop checking me. Please stop giving me a pat down.
Just start wearing it through.
Bro, that's even worse because then they're going to be like right up on my midsection going, hey, what's this heavy artillery right here? And I don't know whether he's talking about me or the belt. So I'm in a lost position here.
All right.
I don't know. All right, keep it on.
Well, I mean, no, let's dive in a little bit here because I mean, you had to go back to the drawing board. And this was at the height of main event Mike and Boss Daddy,
Yeah.
and their fuckery. So they didn't make it easy. I mean, you went through some shit. What was kind of the toughest stretch to get back here?
I think it was playing a mental game with Christian Taylor. Quite honestly, anybody that knows me knows I'm not a mind games person. I'm straightforward. I am to the point. If I don't like you, I don't like you. There are very many avenues that I could have taken to get to the Coastal Empire Heavyweight Championship, but I took the straight shot, and that had Christian Taylor in my way. Playing mind games with me, it doesn't necessarily, I'm not going to say it doesn't work because it's very much a different, it's almost playing a different game. It's the chess and checkers comparison that everybody makes in life. Christian Taylor does play chess. Unfortunately, I'm not really good at chess, so I just knocked the whole damn board over. So,
Yeah, and I go that.
Right. And then I had to, just kind of, you almost have to just outlast the weirdness because eventually, once the weirdness is done, the human's there. Once the brain stops, it's almost, I guess a stupid analogy would be a zombie effect. The brain goes dead, but the body still works. It's kind of how Christian Taylor is. And you just have to wait for the brain to stop working because once it stops working, he's just a human. And he's just like every other wrestler we step in the ring with, which leads us to this weekend. Just another wrestler.
Yeah. Yep. You sure about that?
Yeah. Hey.
Very tall.
Don't worry. In Georgia, we know who it is.
Okay.
Us Georgia boys, we know who it is.
All right. Okay. That's fair.
It's a little bit different now, though.
Okay, he went through some shit. Everybody does. What?
Okay,
like
we weren't going to talk about that, but
I mean,
I wasn't going to.
I will. He'll shoot some straight. I'll shoot it straight from the hip. Look, I get it. Former NLW heavyweight champion. He's cruel. I get it. He's doing the death matches and killing folks and everything else. But I know who Cruel is. I've never wrestled Cruel before. I've never wrestled the counterpart. But I was there watching him. Anybody knows me knows I'm a student of the game.
Can't argue with that.
And I know everybody he's ever wrestled. So, if you think I didn't come into this knowing damn well that when a mask is given to me and he's marking me for death because he wants to put whatever, glass, skewers, tables, ladders, chairs, and hit me with it, I stepped on that mask and I made a purpose. I made a statement. And I'll be damned if I walk in there with fear in my eyes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask you about strategy there, but I think we got that.
Punch him in the mouth. That's the strategy. Everybody's got a plan so you get punched in the damn mouth.
Yeah, it didn't work on Drew Hood. If we could rewind for just a second. That was a pretty tough challenge within itself. How are you feeling coming out of that and knowing that you were able to overcome that mountain as well?
I felt good. I also felt really good going into it. We both had the opportunity to work each other at NWA Center Stage Hard Time 6 this past last month at the beginning of the month. It's the first time we'd ever been in a ring together before. First time we've ever actually had a conversation longer than, hey, twin, because he used to, he stole my blonde hair for 5 seconds.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't that crazy? Thieving little bastard. But, I got the win in Center Stage. I had the home field advantage, being that my original home state is Georgia. So, and a lot of promotions I work with is out of Georgia. So I had the home field advantage there. I have the home field advantage at Coastal Empire Wrestling, but it's a little different because he's going to have a little bit of piss and vinegar walking in there. He's taking a loss on the biggest stage of his career. And, I hit a brain buster on him 1, 2, 3 in Atlanta. So I knew I had to get in there. I had to soften him up a little bit. I had to play with his mind games too. He's a very fantastic wrestler, but I think where he excels is his mouth. And if you let him get in your head, it's a whole different game. So I had to play around in the devil's playground, and I had to, zig and zag and wait for my moment to strike. And that's exactly what happened.
That's fair. Okay. I mean, again, no shortage of confidence, and you've been riding a high lately. But I feel like I got to ask about it because the internet's talking about it. You had a moment with old Avery Styles, and of course getting your licks in, and then all of a sudden, Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats, is coming in to make the save there. I mean, like when you have that moment, this is your business as usual. Putting the hurt on an opponent, but then somebody steps in and it happens to be one of the greatest of all time. Like, what's going through your mind in that moment?
So, truth be told, I have been under said learning tree before. I do get to pick brains in here and there, and unfortunately, Alexander Lev is one of my best friends in this world. He is my European brother, if you will, from Greater Poland. And, it was just a case of he was the one who offered me to come to NAWA in Calhoun, Georgia, which just so happens to be where the modern-day Miss Elizabeth, Miss Cheyenne, is from, that walks me to the ring. And, I just wanted to do Lev a favor, and I like Avery. I think he's a cool kid, but I also don't think that he should get what I should have. And if anybody's going to take the championship from Alexander Lev, it's going to be Hunter James. But right now, that's not my current goal. He brought me in to kind of watch his back, big brother style. I mean, if I'm a few months older than he is, I'm going to check in on little bro, make sure he's doing good. But when AJ Styles comes out, I didn't even know he was there. I mean, at the end of the day, aren't you supposed to be like retired, dude? You went to sleep. Why don't you go sleep at home? Go spend time with the wife. Jeez, let the kid grow.
Is anybody truly retired in wrestling?
No.
Except for Shawn Michaels.
No. Even Shawn's not retired.
No. Yes, he did.
No.
We all
didn't
remember
happen.
the tag
It
match.
didn't happen.
I don't want to remember it.
Fucking happen.
He's my absolute favorite wrestler of all time, and I don't want to remember it.
We have
Didn't
to
happen.
it.
Didn't happen.
I'm blaming Kane.
Yes, agree.
Because I can't blame the other three, but I can blame Kane.
Agree.
Yeah, whatever. But no, but then now, obviously with AJ set up the matches, Kazarian and Frankie Kazarian, Avery Styles versus Alexander Lev and Hollywood Hunter James. So that's the end of next month. So now I get to kind of knock another thing off the quote unquote bingo card for the year. I was featured in PWI in my own section about Roughhouse. I've been featured on Ring of Honor. I've been featured
Look at
on
that.
the NWA. And now I am stepping in the ring with a former TNA heavyweight champion, former TNA X Division champion, the king of TNA, Frankie Kazarian, someone that I grew up watching, and I will gladly. Last year it was Jay Lethal that I got to knock off that list. This year I get to knock off Kazarian. I won't get to wrestle AJ, so I guess his son will do.
Only thing it's missing is SCI. I'm telling you. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If Matt's watching. Company man here.
Hey, my phone's always open, and he knows it. And that's a shot.
He does know it.
You have been around CEW for a very long time.
Yep.
And now, again, champion in face and carrying the company. Do you feel the responsibility now to deliver bigger matches on the biggest show of the year?
I believe it is my job to be presentable. And like beyond the wrestling part is to make sure that when you come watch Coastal Empire Wrestling as your champion, that I am making sure that my body, my mind, and my attitude speaks as a champion. You could go to any indie show in the world and see some fat hillbilly as your heavyweight champion because he runs the show, so he makes sure he has weaker opponents, or that he's just fatter than everybody else and has no lick of athleticism. A tampon's more athletic than him, and so he knows he can just squash everybody. Nobody wants to see that. And I don't want to wrestle the weakest links, because if somebody's going to beat me, they earn what they get, which would be the Coastal Empire Heavyweight Championship. So for me, it's not just delivering the best matches, because quite honestly, I don't get paid by the hour. I know I'm walking into a 20-plus minute war most nights. If I can get it done in 5, I would love that. I get the same check regardless. But it's also making sure that I'm there and I'm being a locker room leader to a very young locker room that we have at Coastal. Some of these guys are older than me, but they're young in wrestling. A lot of them are in their mid to late 20s. I'm in my early 20s. But making sure that, hey, there are other things besides just that ring that we have to worry about. We have to worry about the fans. We have to worry about the venue. We have to worry about people watching us online. There's something that makes me feel complete knowing that when I walk in there, I'm walking in there at maybe most of the time, especially over the past 6 to 8 months, I'm walking in leaner and leaner every month, looking my absolute best. I'm making sure my hair looks good. I'm making sure my tan looks good by any means necessary. I'm making sure that the venues that we're working with are happy that their champion is outside greeting the fans and making sure that everybody knows that we're here not just because it's wrestling, but it's a community. Football has a community, baseball has a community, wrestling has a community. I think independent wrestling needs better communities. And I feel like specifically in Georgia and the Carolinas and Tennessee and some in Florida, I'm not too familiar with, but in Georgia, I'm pretty familiar with it. I can see when the community's building up because the fans start to travel. And I know that Coastal has built a very, very nice reputation with their venue and with their fans. Now we're kind of getting to branch off and do something a little bigger this time, and I'm very excited for that.
All right. Saturday night. Legends.
Where's that swamp bastard at?
Legends of the Low Country. Biggest show of the year. Biggest title on the line. Cruel is standing across that ring. What's your message?
It doesn't matter how big you are, because bigger doesn't mean better unless I'm the biggest in the ring. At the end of the day, he may have been MLW heavyweight champion. He may have conquered every soul that he has searched. He is scary. I'm not an idiot. He's scary. I don't want to touch him. He looks disgusting. But at the end of the day, Simon Sermon said that I'm going to have the biggest challenge of my life. The biggest challenge of our lives every day is waking up and doing something 1% better than we did the night before. And lucky for Cruel, I wrestled the night before. Lucky for me, I got to be 1% better than I was the night before. And it's always been an uphill battle. From an indie-rific wrestling family, I wasn't supposed to have a book written about me. I wasn't supposed to be the Georgia 2025 Wrestler of the Year, probably because my attitude of being confident, everyone thinks is cocky. Well, guess what? Get in the ring with me. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about every time I say it. And I'll be damned if Cruel walks out with my heavyweight championship, not because it's my heavyweight championship, but because it's Savannah's heavyweight championship. Those people took me in when no one else did. And those people will always be my people. And Cruel can kiss this overweight gold belt goodbye because Hollywood has arrived.
CEW heavyweight champion Hollywood Hunter James. I mean, what the fuck else am I supposed to say to that other than to recap that?
That's what I'll say.
Yeah, this will be a fun one for everybody that's watching right now and they want to come check this out this weekend. Where's it going down?
It's going down at the 9 Line Apparel. I guess it's their headquarters. It is 450 Argyle Road in Savannah, Georgia. Holy hell, I remember the address to an venue. That should be an Indie World record. You have Cruel versus Hollywood Hunter James. We just talked about that. We have Peps and Bryce Cannon. You know, the battle of the youths. We're just missing one to make it a triple threat, huh? Might as well just throw his ass in there too. Let him. I wonder which person. You know what? Loser wears a dress. That's where I think that should go. We have the tag team titles on the line, triple threat action.
Yeah.
Deep South Women's Championship. I'm familiar with Deep South Wrestling, and I think that Emily has a mountain to climb with Audrey. Suge D and Monkey Man Joe has an I Quit match. How do you say I quit if you don't speak English? I don't know. I don't think Suge thought that one through.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
The personal match I'm looking forward to is Fro and his dad, especially being in the locker room and getting ready for your match and you hear those whips from that belt. My skin crawled, and my skin doesn't crawl much. It takes a lot for me to jump, and that got me. So I hope Fro whips his dad's ass all over Savannah, Georgia. I may jump in and kick the old bald cop's ass with him at that point. Whip my friend. Damn. I'm sure there. Action Mike Jackson and Simon Sermon. Yep. I hope Action Mike Jackson walks around that ring 27 times before dropping that arm. That's all I'm saying. I hope Simon's arm has the worst shoulder pump of its life, and he wakes up tomorrow sore than ever before.
I think we all.
Well, yeah, you guys heard it here first. Go check the show out this weekend. Hunter, best of luck. We're going to keep an eye on social media to see what happens here because we're going to have a shot of tequila. Assuming that you walk out this weekend as champion, we're ready to celebrate and can't wait to see the show.
Hey, 1800, let's take that shot, baby.
Deal. Good to see you, bud. Congratulations again. Best of luck this weekend, man.
Awesome.
CEW heavyweight champion Hollywood Hunter James, not short on confidence as always.
The belt's too heavy. I'm glad you said it because I was like, this is the biggest first world problem I've ever heard of in my life.
Man, it's no.
I
guess the show's gonna be nuts this weekend. I mean, that's always the case for Coastal. Shout out to our friends there. If you're in the Savannah area, go check out the show. And again, incredibly talented people putting on this event this weekend. So go check it out. Podcast Dad, I know we're getting late. It's been a long fucking week, and this is us coming back off of SCI. You're a fucking trooper. Appreciate you. We've had a number of incredible guests this week, and we appreciate all of them for stopping by. One final thing I did want to ask you about, just because there's something that came out today, partnership between SiriusXM and WWE. There's now WWE Radio. So your Busted Opens of the world, Busted Open After Dark, Peter Rosenberg, not Sam. Those are now under the WWE umbrella. Your thoughts?
Great.
Yep.
And just continue to control that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all it is. That's why Netflix.
That's all it is.
They joined the Netflix, so there wouldn't be any more. I won't say hit pieces, but like
you can say hit pieces,
not WWE approved
not
pieces.
Flattering.
Yes, and now we're going over the airways with Busted Open, and that's they're doing the territory thing. Yep. Without actually closing like other wrestling businesses. They're just doing media now.
Yep.
So, yep.
Fuck them. Anyway, we're still here. We're doing our thing.
We are still here. We can be critical, and that's okay because we love wrestling and we just want it to be good. But here we are. But I don't know, man. That it's like Disney. Like they're just starting to get everything.
Yeah.
I don't want Star Wars with Disney. It sucks now.
I was never Star Wars. You're punching the heavy bag on that one. Sorry. I
yes, know. I know.
Yeah. But I know that you've got a vacation to start, so it's going to do it for us this week. No podcast that Monday or Tuesday. Do I have a co-host for next week yet? I don't fucking know, but I'll figure it out. 7 p.m. Eastern. Every day next week. Got some incredible guests lined up. We're also going to preview a little bit more of Redemption. We'll preview SummerSlam eventually when you're back. I don't want to do that without you. I know that makes you feel bad. Enjoy your vacation. Please be careful. I know who you're going with. Please be fucking careful.
I know where I'm going now, too. Can't tell you over the air, but I know where I'm going now.
Okay.
I'll tell you offline.
August October is probably going to be proud, huh? Anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, you can find us on X, TikTok, and Buzzer at Junkies Pod. Like us on Facebook. Follow us over on Instagram at Wrestling Junkies Pod. But please subscribe to that YouTube channel, whether it's your mom, your dad, your bartender, dispensary person, therapist, backshop buddy, sneaky link. Doesn't really matter who. Tell one person. We're having a good time. Look who we had. We had a woman that main evented Korakuen Hall. We got to have one of the final interviews of the Flying Fro Michael Walker. You got to see some naughty pussy on the screen here. There's not a whole lot that we can't offer on this Wrestling Junkies podcast. We're having a great fucking time. Got him. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Shout out to our friends at Turnbuckle. We'll be back on Body Slam next week, 7 p.m. Eastern as well. Podcast that good.
Out of his mind. We've gone too long. For Mr. Cincinnati, I'm the podcast dad. I'll see you Wednesday. He'll see you Monday. Love
Maybe.
You guys.
Likely will. Enjoy the graps. At least say the fucking line.